you're fighting a guy that's not human. You know, he's not breathing. Every shot hurts. Even in the clinches, you see how strong he is. I'm not sure I've seen anything like it before, really. It's like it's not right. It's just like it's an unfair advantage. Great fight. I thought Beterbiev was good defensively tonight as well. He was a lot more switched on and sharp because I think he knew about the power of Callum Smith. Callum had a good second round. Even in the sixth round, I thought he started to Callum was just making a small dent. But the problem is, as I said earlier, you just can't take the hammer off Beterbiev. You can't continuously take punishment. And even at times where I thought, Callum might just be starting to find his way. He comes back with 4 or 5. It only takes 4 or 5 around the side of the head. Wherever they are, they hurt. And it was a good performance from Beterbiev.
Eddie Hearn says that Artur Beterbiev is not human. And it's an unfair advantage when you fight him. It's not right. And the fans ran with it. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego. And I'm back with some more boxing. Now, pretty pathetic times in the world of boxing. Artur Beterbiev destroyed Callum Smith, and he stood not a chance. For your boy Ego, this is not shocking one bit. I picked Artur Beterbiev to win. I stood on it. I said I did not understand all this hype for Callum Smith and all the people that said he was going to defeat Beterbiev. I didn't see what he brought to the table that would lead anybody to pick him over Beterbiev. So for me, someone who actually knows this wonderful sport of boxing, this was a very easy prediction of mine. Very, very easy. It didn't require a bunch of research. I've watched both fighters fight, and I virtually gave Callum Smith no chance. And I was proven right because he really stood no chance. Beterbiev, he came out pretty fast and wanted to test Callum's mettle. Then he let off the gas a little bit and just got back to more of a strategy to see if he could break down Callum Smith. Callum Smith had the height advantage, but the thing is, he didn't use it. He didn't fight like a tall fighter. He was like kind of crunched down. I mean, what's the point of being 6'3" in a division like 175 if you're gonna be short and fight short? It reminds me of one of my favorite movies, Arnold Schwarzenegger in Pumping Iron. Yeah, I want to pump you up. You know, everybody remembers that movie who's seen it. And there was a scene where Arnold said a lot of people were asking him for advice because of course he's a famous bodybuilder in the 70s. He's Mr. Olympia. And Arnold was explaining to this very short guy, he was like, a lot of short bodybuilders, they want to look small, like they want to flex like this. And he's like, what are you doing? Show them, like look big and like, you know. And I remember that scene always stuck with me. Yeah, what are you doing? Show them now. And the way I relate it to boxing is, if you're a 6'3" guy, you clearly have the height advantage, longer arms. Show them. Yeah, show them right there. But that's not what Callum did. He crunched down, fought like the smaller fighter, and was backed up against the rope. I mean, it was really a poor performance. So I don't know why people are like, oh man, but Callum tried. And like, the thing that's crazy to me about the UK is you got people like Eddie Hearn. He's saying like, oh, he's not human. And people are running with it and saying that Beterbiev is cheating. This was an easy fight for me to predict. I don't know what you guys seen. And what I've noticed in British boxing is they hype up their guys, uber biased commentary. And then when the result is what most people thought it was going to be, or at least people with a boxing brain, Beterbiev demolishes him, then the UK somewhat acts surprised, like, oh, commiserations, I didn't know, like, and they act the British teeth act like they didn't understand that this was at the very least a very strong possibility that Yard was going to lose, even though Yard did way better than Callum Smith and he wasn't 6'3". And I don't understand why the UK be acting surprised. But back to Eddie Hearn. So you heard the clip at the beginning. Eddie Hearn says that it's unfair and almost like he's basically saying it's almost unnatural. And now people are running with it, accusing Beterbiev of being on something. And I've even seen people who are talking about this atypical test, which I'm going to save for the end of this video. So watch this video to the video's end so you get gamed up on the test that came back that said atypical, because people are running with it and saying it's a drug fail and he's a PED cheat. It's not even what went on, and I'll explain it. But first, a word from the channel's sponsor. The future is now. The Hibernation 5s by Kenichi Bear. Hybrid gaming and lifestyle headphones. Out of the box, you can connect to any console or PC. Bluetooth ready with a low latency USB adapter, color RGB, and extreme bass mode. The Hibernation 5s adjust to you. Whether you need a gaming, travel, gym, or lifestyle headphones, the Hibernations got you covered. The new Hibernation 5s, link in the description. Customize the way you hear the world. Welcome to the nation. And we're back. So this is from WADA. This is a PDF document, just because I feel like it's most important to know the words that you're saying, because a lot of people, they use these words, atypical, adverse, and they don't even know what the word means. So leave it to your boy, who's a student of the game, to break down what these are, and I'll use these as references. This is WADA. So it says the adverse analytical finding in this report are not to be confused and adjudicated or sanctioned anti-doping rule violation. So just off of that first sentence, it lets you know that these are not the same terminology. It says adverse analytical finding is defined by WADA code as, quote, a report for a laboratory or other WADA approved entity that is consistent, right? So blah, blah, blah. Let's get to atypical findings, right? Atypical, ATF is the initials, the acronym. In this report, not to be confused or adjudicated or sanctioned anti-doping rule violations. So it says what an atypical finding is defined by WADA as a report from the laboratory that requires further investigation as provided by blah, blah, blah standards, right? In layman's terms, there's a difference between adverse and atypical. When you have adverse, by way of definition, adverse says acting against or in a contrary direction, hostile, hindered by adverse winds, opposed to one's interests. So the word adverse it says hostile. So this is clearly negative when we're talking about PED tests. What atypical means, it says not typical. Adjective, not typical, not conforming to the type, irregular, abnormal, atypical behavior, a flower atypical of the species. What's an example of atypical? Atypical means outside of a type. An atypical suburban town might be populated by zombies in damp caves. So they're saying that's not necessarily the standard, right? So we have to know and understand what these words mean. So because something is atypical does not mean it's fraudulent or it's cheating. It requires more investigation. And they did that with Artur Beterbiev's drug test. And then the very next week, he passed the test, and what showed up previously, the heightened levels of HGH and whatever else it was like HGH and testosterone. But these are substances that are naturally occurring in the body, right? So it's not like a banned substance is something totally different, because a banned substance, you wouldn't have this in your body like nandrolone, right? You wouldn't have these levels of nandrolone naturally occurring in the body, right? That's why like a Tyson Fury could fail, or with certain PEDs and SARMs and stuff like that. It's not naturally existing in the body, some of them, or freakish levels would not, it's like impossible to have unless you've injected or whatever the case is. So people are running around spreading falsehoods and saying that Beterbiev cheated. And then you have Eddie Hearn, which is very funny. He's saying these certain words like Beterbiev is not human. Why is he not human? He's just a strong human. Wilder is strong. Gervonta is strong. There's a lot of guys, Julian Jackson. These guys are definitely human. They require sleep. They require food. They require rest and recovery. They breathe oxygen. They're human. But just the fact that he's saying words like this is inspiring other people, especially the UK, to try to condemn Beterbiev and accuse him of something. I mean, just listen to how it sounds. He's not human and he has an unfair advantage. It's almost like he never gets tired. I mean, the man's training hard and he hasn't failed anything. So to really put this out is sad. Make sure you guys check out my last video about Tony Bellew, another UK former boxer, UK personality, who is insinuating that Beterbiev is only getting stronger and he didn't possess this strength earlier in his career, which is false because we've seen him. He hurt Usyk as an amateur, and Usyk's a dang good fighter and a guy who gold medaled, right? So it's sad to see the UK going out like this. And it's funny when you have guys like Tony Bellew and you got guys like Eddie Hearn, and he's like basically throwing these words, Beterbiev's not human, and trying to give Callum Smith credit for getting crushed by Beterbiev. But then you look at Conor Benn, he didn't have an atypical test. It says Conor Benn UK anti-doping investigation for adverse finding. And we already went over that earlier in this video. So it's ironic you got a rematch room fighter who has failed for an adverse finding with banned substances in his system. Mans like Conor Benn, bruv. And then Eddie Hearn will jump to the rescue. Oh, Conor, he's a clean guy and da-da-da-da. But then you have all these UK dudes, because UK fighters keep getting crushed by Beterbiev. You Beterbiev on your best behavior when you fight this man. Now people are acting like he cheated Callum Smith with no proof. With no proof, nothing to go off. Just mad that the guy is strong. And if you look at it stylistically, he approached the fight technically in the way you should fight a taller guy that's supposed to have power. He was mindful. He jabbed his way in. He rushed and covered distance and made the ring. It was a small ring, an 18 by 18 ring. Just give the man his props. The UK going out sad. Subscribe for more boxing videos just like this, and check out the first Artur Beterbiev video where I go in on what Tony Bellew said.